Hey all, welcome to my channel. I'm Amber, and today I'm going to be starting a reading vlog. So this will be a reading vlog for the second week of August, or rather September. And I've been really wanting to do a reading vlog since I started making videos again. So I'm really hopeful that this will work out, because main reason why I wasn't doing it is I didn't have enough storage. I didn't have a way of putting my clips together, and I found both of those and a way to work that out, and hopefully that means that you're seeing this. So this week's reading vlog is mainly to finish what I should have finished last week, which is the second part of Lord of the Rings, which is The Two Towers. I am halfway through, at least close to halfway if not, and last week has been really just me watching NCIS, which is like my 100th time rewatching it, as you know. NCIS is like one of my favorite shows, and I just got caught up in it, especially because I was so close to where Denozo leaves the show, and that is one of the best episodes, I think, especially when it comes to an episode that's Tony centered. So yeah, I really wanted to get to that, and so this whole past week has been me more focused on watching that than reading, which is a little bit disappointing because I was really enjoying this and I really want to finish Lord of the Rings. So, I am, where am I? I know I'm at the Strava chapter. I'm on chapter 10, and this is where Gandalf confronts Saruman in his tower, and that means that we're getting pretty close to where we go back to Sam and Frodo storyline, back at the beginning of where the first part leaves us. So this vlog is not going to be spoiler free, so if you have not read A Lord of the Rings, I would not watch this. But yeah, I also want to start May We Reaped by Jesmyn Ward. I'm planning to start this tomorrow morning. Hopefully I actually get into it. I did read the prologue, and I totally forgot what this book was going to be about. I knew it was a memoir, but I did not know that I didn't know like the themes of the story very much at all really anymore, because it's been a while since I've heard anybody talk about this book. But Mary Read by Jesmyn Ward is her memoir, and the basics is she's dealing with her brother and 3 other men who are, I think, close to her, or she was close to them, whichever is the right way of saying that. So she talks about the history of racism and economic struggle that fostered drug addiction and the dissolution of family relationships. So she talks about that through their stories, and these 4 people, 3 friends and a brother, who all died in the same year, very close to in time with each other. And so I've heard this is a very hard-hitting book, but it also seems like there's a lot that that could be talked about, and it seems on the shorter side, so I'm a little bit hesitant when it comes to that, because the topic, talking about the history of racism in connection with the drug situation, there's a lot you could talk about when it comes to that, and so I'm like not sure if how short is gonna leave enough space to that, but it really just depends on like really where is this leading, like what is she really going to go into when it comes to that topic. So we shall see. I know she talks about the city that she lives in and her family, and then it kind of going through each of these men's lives and all that. So very much I'm looking forward to finally reading this. It's been years in the coming, so I really want to get to this week and again finishing this. So we will look forward to updates on these 2 things throughout the week. You can look forward to my noodle. Yes. Say hi, Noodle. And it's gonna be a hot week, so trying to keep cool here. Hopefully you can hear me through the fans, because I am not turning off my fans for nobody. are for nothing, because today, Monday, it's supposedly going to be 105, and yesterday it got up to about that. So I'm really frustrated. It's already September. I feel like the temperature should be lowering and not rising, and yet it's doing the exact opposite. So 2020, I guess, kind of like hates us. So anyways, I will chat with you later when I've read some and have something to update you with. Good morning, y'all. So today is another day, and yesterday I continued with Lord of the Rings, and I was wrong about how far away I was from the halfway part. I thought I had quite a few, but I was only just a chapter away from getting back to Frodo and Sam. So I am now to where Sam and Frodo have now got Gollum slash Smeagol, and they're in the middle of, or rather they just got out of the, what do you call it, the bog of the, where the dead people are in. So if you've read this, you know what I'm talking about. I can't recall the name of it right at the top of my head right now, because I just got home, done all the things we need to do, and so now I'm here to relax, have some lunch, and try to continue on. I thought I said I was going to start maybe Reach this week, but I think I'm gonna hold off on that until I finish Lord of the Rings in total. And yeah, so that'll probably be in another week and a half probably. So we shall see. I'm hoping to get done with the 2 towers by today or tomorrow, and just go straight into the third part, the Return of the King, and hopefully that means that I will get done earlier, but we shall see. Here comes the Noodle. Noodle, you got lunch, you know. Anyways, I will check in hopefully this evening with a good chunk. Last night I didn't read as much as I was hoping to, just because I was still in the mindset of wanting to watch NCIS, and it took over my mind. So hopefully now I will do better. So I am back for another update. So I remembered what the place that they were at is called, and it's called the Dead Marshes, and they were not actually out of it. They were about to leave it, I think. They were pretty close to the end of that path, and now we have just left Faramir, and yeah, a lot of things have gone down. I read a really good chunk, and tomorrow I will definitely be finishing this book and going straight into the last part slash book of Lord of the Rings. And yeah, something that I have come to like really realize, especially after someone else has brought this up, is kind of, I want to say kind of, I would say that it is a racist, slightly, not slightly, it's, yeah, I would say it's racist, because all of the people who are good in this book are white, and every time that he mentions someone who is bad, either is described in terms of being dark skinned color and etc. Like the orcs, I kind of like, I don't really see an issue with that one just because they're not really humans, they're just creatures that have been twisted into. Like they used to be, but they were twisted into something, so I kind of don't take too much of an issue with this. But the fact that the humans, um, the fact that everybody who is bad seems to be of dark skin, um, is problematic. And even with like Aragorn, who is a good person, but because of his work that he does, kind of has like a, is described in a way that could be problematic too, if you look very closely at it. Um, so yeah, I do think that there is some problematic things that, especially with this one, this is the only one that I've really noticed and have been able to like see very clearly as an issue. So yeah, I definitely saw that. And then also something that is different from the movie, um, they made it seem that Faramir was basically like his brother and wanted the ring, whereas in the book he did not want the ring at all. Like he didn't fully know what the ring was, or really understand what Isildur's vein meant, but he knew he didn't want it because he had an understanding of like what it could do to a future person. So he did not want it. And the movie, again, this is something that I've had issues with the Lord of the Ring movies, is how they change people's personalities, their characters, because they did with Frodo. They make Frodo seem very weak and easily manipulated, where because of the power of the ring, which is not true. Frodo was not easily manipulated. He knew that he couldn't trust Gollum, but he really didn't have a choice, and he knew that if he was going to get anywhere. And he knew that Gandalf didn't want him killing Gollum or having him be killed or anything. So yeah, the movie really changes like the whole character, and that is something that I find very a huge issue when it comes to the movies, because I love the movies, don't get me wrong, but I think that it is a huge issue for me. It's one thing to change certain storylines and like just to make it easier for like the filming process and how it's showing the story and everything. But when you're changing a person's personality slash character, that I feel is one step too far and very much wrong. So yeah, you're gonna always have an issue with me with that, but I will still enjoy it. But I am done reading for the day. I read a really good chunk, and I am going back to watching NCIS. I'm on the episode where Palmer tries to stop this kid from committing suicide after his father dies in a hit-and-run accident. So I really want to finish that episode. I'm almost done with it, and I'm just done for the day. So I will check with you tomorrow. Hey all, so today I have an update, and the update is I finished the second part of Lord of the Rings, which is the Two Towers, and yeah, I can't remember if the movie actually goes this far, the second movie. I feel like they didn't. I feel like they stop where Frodo, Sam, and Smeagol leave Faramir, and the whole spider thing is in the next movie. And if that is so, it's actually wrong because it happens in the second part of the book. And so, I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but I always get like, kind of like confused with one another, so I'm curious to see which it is when it comes to the movie. Because I do plan to watch these movies after I finish reading the books, so hopefully, at least this Friday, I plan to watch the Fellowship of the Ring. I did start it, and I just want to finish it right at this point. So, yeah. Also, again, I think I want to talk about this again because I finally showed it up. Every time I reread these books, I feel how they change Frodo in the movies is even worse each time because it makes Frodo be a really bad friend to Sam in the movies, and Frodo was not a bad friend at all, and he was not even that weak of a character, of a person, and it kind of frustrates me how more and more as I reread and rewatch these movies to see how they treat Frodo in such a bad and negative way, and I don't really appreciate that. I think that they are disrespecting the author and these characters by not being true to their character when they made the film, so I just was not very happy about it, and I'm still, like, I just keep on getting frustrated thinking about it. I mean, I love the movies for the most part, mainly because of Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, and all those stories. I tend to not really want to watch the parts with Gollum in it, because I find Gollum to be, like, super creepy and annoying and just frustrating to watch in these movies, even though I get the importance of his character. I just don't like him in the movies. He's not as bad as in the book, because I can, like, it's not as bad when you can't really, like, see him. So, yeah. It's a little bit easier when I'm reading it, but in watching it, I'm just like, I can really understand very much so why Sam and Frodo do not like Gollum, especially Sam. So, it'd be very interesting to rewatch the second part of the second film to see, especially if I'm right or wrong about if they didn't go that far with that or not, because I just can't remember it for some reason. And you think I would be able to remember this? I rewatched and all that several times, and plenty of times that you think I would remember, but apparently not. So I am done for the day with reading. I was planning to go further on because I was very close to being done with that book yesterday, with that part yesterday, but yeah, just wasn't for it. So I'm gonna go back and continue my rewatch of NCIS. I am past where Ellie's boyfriend got killed, and all of that craziness that ensued. So, oh yeah, this is the episode of when McGee's house gets burglarized, and they have to, like, he's trying to, like, solve the case before Delilah comes back home, and he has to tell her about the past, the history of this place. So it's a really funny, humorous episode, and we're getting very close to, like, another of my favorite episodes with especially because McGee has changed and grown so much to this show. I did not like McGee at the beginning because McGee is so annoying and just whiny and just a little childish at the beginning, but he seems to, like, grow and he becomes more secure in himself, and I really am loving where he is at this time with the show and everything. So yeah, so much better. And I will say this, I absolutely hate Taurus, and I hate the fact that the show people feel like they need to, like, have another DiNozo at the beginning of the show, and I absolutely can't respect that decision, because we don't need another Denozo in that sense. Like, Denozo grew and matured and learned as time went by, but Torres is about the same age as Denozo, I would say, and I don't think we need another one. We don't need that. Let's just, like, learn and grow, and, like, you know, why can't we have a character that isn't as sexist, misogynistic as, sure, creep, you know, all that. So, we don't need that anymore. I'm tired of seeing characters like that being portrayed. You know, we need a better example of what a true man is. And, you know, I'm so tired of seeing a character who gets threatened by a woman who is better, who is as good or better than them in something, whatever, you know, that's deemed a man's role. It's really annoying and frustrating, and especially because, again, they're having this whole love interest thing between Bishop and Torres, and I'm just like, we don't need that. We had that with Tony and Ziva. That was enough. Like, it was enough. And if they don't show, my mind, Tony and Ziva are together forever and ever, but I'm curious if we're gonna get Ziva again, if and whenever things get back to some kind of normalcy with Bellamy and things and stuff. But yeah, we shall see. I am ranting a lot about something that not a lot of people are interested in, I think. So I will be going back to that for the rest of this day. Tomorrow is another day. And hopefully tomorrow I will get into a good chunk of the last book. Or part, I should say. Also, I will not be reading the whole book, because there is a part of this where it just goes on and on and on about things that happen after the fact. So I probably will be like skimming through a lot of that, because I am not, it just goes into a lot of things that could have been dealt with in a very snappy pace, and so he just makes the book go longer than it needs to be at the end. So it just gets way too long-winded. Yeah, towards the end of the book. So I'm just wanting to, like, you know, I have 4 library books that I need to get to, so I'm kind of like, I am not in the mood to, like, read something that I'm not interested in, and, you know, it's just like a lot of wrap-up stuff, like, yeah. So anyways, I'm rambling. I will check with you probably tomorrow when I have something else to update you on. Hi Noodle. Do you want to go for a oh, rush. Hey, welcome to another update. So today I have read about, I would say, 50 pages of this book, of the last part of this book, I should say, Return of the King. And 2 things. I do feel like the last part of this book is much faster than the rest of it, because we're done. Well, we're not really done with traveling per se, because we still have Frodo and Sam still working their way up the mountain, and then Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli are right now on a side journey on the path of the dead. So, like, there's still a little bit of a journey aspect going on, but because we're so close to actual full-out war with Mordor and Sauron, that it feels like the pacing has picked up a lot, very significantly. So it has like a quicker pace going on in this last part, because I feel like I've read a lot more than I actually did. But the last thing that I have come to quickly realize is that I do not like Pippin very much. I don't know if anybody else feels the same as me with this opinion, but I find Pippin to be on the annoying side. It's just a bit frustrating. Like you spent all this time with Aragorn, and yet you don't seem to like understand anything. Like what? Like what were you doing this whole time? And I'm talking about specifically when Gandalf and Pippin are going to meet Denethor, the King's Hand. The what is he? He's like the steward who's kind of like keeping like the kingdom together, but until the true king comes or something like that. Yeah, and so they're going to meet him, and Gandalf warns Pippin, to not talk about Aragorn or mention him in any way because of his true claim to the kingship. And Pippin's like, what? And I find it really frustrating to me. Like, you spent all that whole time, and Aragorn had through talking to other people and certain things that had been spoken about. And he talked about this several times, and yet you don't understand or know this? Like, what? And Pippin has caused a lot of trouble for them, and, thankfully, like, nothing, like, it didn't really, in the long run, it doesn't do, like, serious damage to their cause, but he risked everything for just curiosity's sake, and it seriously, curiosity killed the cat. Like, curiosity killed Pippin. Like, it almost killed them. It could have destroyed everything, and in the end, Pippin would have been killed because, like, he could have died from what he did, and if the war had been turned the other way, Pippin would not have survived. So curiosity killed the cat. Curiosity almost killed Pippin. So, yeah, I don't know. I just come to really realize that Pippin is really annoying, a bit childish, and I know that in Hobbit age he is still basically a teenager, which I didn't realize. Like, now I'm realizing that he is actually a teenager and he acts like one, has no idea. Like, he's like, impulsivity at the wazoo, and he's just completely reckless. And yeah, he's frustrating, annoying. Don't like him as much as I used to. I like Merry and Pippin's relationship and friendship in the books and in the movies, but Pippin, oof, frustrating. But yeah, so right now I left off with Legolas, Aragorn, and Gimli and the Rangers going on the path of the dead. So they're just about to go on that path, and like I said, it definitely feels like this part is going much faster than it was before in the previous book. So doing good so far. Thursday, so I actually don't see myself finishing this, and I thought I was actually going to finish this week, but I think if I had started this part at the beginning of the week, I would have. So we are doing okay. I have no clue how much further I have until the end of where I want to end this, because there's a part that I do not read. So, anyways, any hoozles. Get in there. Anyways, I'm going back to watching my NCIS. I have just started the 15th season, and right now, I was gonna say Denosa, but Denosa's not part of the show anymore. But Gibbs and McGee have just gotten back from being held hostage. Not hostage. Well, yeah, hostage. Or prisoner. Whatever you want to call it. And they have to do, like, they have to have mandatory therapy to be reinstated in their positions. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I really like these 2 episodes, and this is when, this is not the episode, but this is the season we meet a new character, new person, and I totally forgot her name at this moment, but I like how she thinks that she can, like, play games, like, pretend to be something she's not, and not really think that Gibbs is gonna know that that she's not who she claims to be. Whatever. It's gonna be interesting. I am very much looking forward to continuing on my watch. But yeah, I will check in when I have another update, probably to end this vlog, because I don't see myself finishing this whole thing tomorrow, because I don't tend to read on Fridays. So maybe Sunday, we'll surely see, but I will check with you or do a closing thing at the end at the next one. Until then. Hey all, so today I just wanted to close out my weekly reading vlog. I did not read yesterday as I thought I wouldn't, but I did watch The Fellowship of the Ring, their first movie, and still love it as much. It's actually my favorite one, mainly because Gollum is not in it. I don't know what it is, but in the books I don't mind Gollum as much, but in the movies he creeps the heck out of me, and so I tend to, like, fast forward through some of those bits just because I really don't like those parts. They just give me the heebie-jeebies. But yeah, Fellowship of the Ring, so good. Love Aragorn, love Legolas and Gimli, and Pippin still solidifies how annoying Pippin is to me. How it's crazy because I always thought that Pippin was supposed to be an adult, but he's actually a kid. Really, he's like a teenager. And in this, like, one part, like, they made his actions worse than what it was a little bit. Like, he did not, like, make a whole suit of armor fall down in that well. But yeah, bad enough either way. So Pippin, you know, he redeems himself in the last part of the book, but yeah, he's just a little bit frustrating. He has a lot of growing up to do. But really loved rewatching that, and I'm looking forward to continuing on. Hopefully tomorrow I will be watching the second part, and yeah. So I thought I would just close this out and say thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully in the coming week I will be starting a new book. My plan is to, after I finish Lord of the Rings, I want to start doing a vlog per book, where the whole vlog would be just that one book, and then once that book is done, the vlog is done, kind of thing. So it's gonna switch to that, but because this is a reread and it's taking me longer than a week or so, I thought I would do that. I thought I would just let it be. So I'm hoping, because this book is going much faster, and I'm also not really planning to read some of the end part because it's just a lot of wrap-up stuff, that it'll go a little bit faster and I can split the week up with my vlogs that way. So we shall see how that works, if it all works out that way. But again, thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear if you read Lord of the Rings. What do you think of Pippin, especially? Because it's something that I have come to realize about Pippin in this reread, is that he is kind of annoying and not that not cool to me. Like, I just think that, you know, he makes poor choices and he affects things, like he could have affected things, but anyways, it doesn't matter. But just, you know my thoughts on this already. So I would love to hear your thoughts on Pippin and the movies if you watched those too. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next vlog.